with 5 events in 4 countries, featuring 7 title fights across 5 divisions, and with over 60 fights, the first half of 2018 has set a blistering pace.
The champ is down here in round 1!
As we roll into Summer of Glory and a packed summer schedule, we'll also look back at the triumphs, upsets, and of course, incredible knockouts that have set the stage for our biggest year yet. Welcome to Inside Glory. My name is Todd Grisham. If the first half of 2018 is a sign of things to come, then the forecast for summer is gonna be hot. But before we get to what's to come, on this edition of Inside Glory, we'll look back at what has been a year to remember so far. 7 title fights took place in 5 different weight classes, as you'll see in our first half division recap. In December 2017, Glory 48 New York saw the crowning of a new women's super bantamweight champion, Anissa Mexen of France, who took a decision win over American Tiffany Van Soos. At Glory 53 Lille in May, Mexen faced top contender Amel Debbie. The 2 French fighters produced a dazzling 5 rounds to the delight of the French crowd, but the champion's superior movement and power proved decisive as she avoided Debbie's counterstrikes to outland her opponent consistently. In the featherweight division, Robin van Roosmalen defended twice in 2017 against Pech Pannemerong at Glory 41 Holland and Sergey Adamchuk at Glory 45 Amsterdam. At Glory 52 Los Angeles on March 31st, he faced his toughest challenge yet as he faced interim title holder Kevin Van Ostrand. But Van Ostrand's dreams of becoming Glory's first American men's champion were dashed on the rocks of Van Roosmalen's relentless pressure and superior conditioning. Despite some early success, the later rounds became an exercise in survival for the American as Van Roosmalen clicked it up a gear and dominated. Next month, see the Dutchman's 3rd defense as he faces Pech Pannemerong once more at Glory 55 New York. Lightweight superstar Sitthichai of Thailand has successfully defended his belt 3 times, with wins over Murat Grigorian, Dylan Salvador, and Christian Bad News Baya at Glory 50 Chicago. At Glory 53, he faced gifted youngster Tajani Beztati. Beztati seemed unfazed by the champion and started strongly, avoiding the Thai's damaging southpaw kick to score the first 2 rounds in his favor. But as the fight progressed, Sitthichai began to figure out the Moroccan and began to clearly outland him. After 5 rounds, he'd done enough to score the win and retain the title, and now goes on to face Murat Grigorian in China this August. At Glory 50 Chicago, Belgian beast Harut Grigorian took the belt from Myrtle Grunhart in what many saw as sweet revenge from an earlier controversial knockout. In his first defense, he faced number 1 contender Aleem Nabiev at Glory 54 Birmingham. Nabiev came into the fight at 3-0, including wins against 2 ex-champions, and the tricky Azerbaijani challenger proved willing to trade shots and stay in range of the Armenian power puncher. But it was Grigorian's forward pressure and power that proved decisive, taking the Armenian to a unanimous decision and a rare successful defense in the most competitive of divisions. In the middleweight division, Brazilian beast Alex Pereira took the title from Simon Marcus in a stunning upset at Glory's first event in China, Glory 46 Guangzhou, and then defended with a TKO win in a rematch with Yusuri Belgarwi at Glory 49 Rotterdam. But with the dominant performance at Glory 53 in May, the Tunisian earned the right to challenge again, setting up the decider in a trilogy at Glory 55 New York next month. The light heavyweight title remained in the hands of Russian rocket Artem Bahitov throughout 2017 as he opened the year with a TKO win over Brazilian berserker Saulo Cavallari at Glory 38 Chicago and closed it with a decision win over contender tournament champion Ariel Machado. But with Pavel Zervalev looking to bring the pain from Ukraine, 2018 looks to be an exciting year in the light heavyweight division. And at the top of it all, another year, another set of successful defenses for the king of kickboxing, heavyweight champion Rico Verhoeven. In December, Verhoeven took on a dangerous grudge match with Man Mountain Jamal bin Sadiq at Glory 49 Redemption. Sadiq looked dangerous and the fight was anything but a foregone conclusion, until Verhoeven delivered a masterclass and dismantled the challenger with a TKO win. And at Glory 54 Birmingham in June, it was the turn of Mladen Brestovac to challenge what many were now describing as the best stand-up fighter on the planet.
The two had met before, way back at Glory 28 Paris, and this rematch looked like a 5-round replay, with the dominant Verhoeven staying inside and avoiding damage from the much-hyped left head kick of the Croatian to score another convincing decision win. Brestovac earned the respect of the Dutchman, but on this form, unstoppable sounds like an understatement.
We're just getting started on Inside Glory. Still to come, the best knockouts of 2018, our Contender tournament recap, and a look back in pictures. But when we return, I'll be joined by my broadcast partner, Joe Valtellini, and get his take on 2018.
It's a big night in the Big Apple on Friday, July 20th at Glory 55, New York. 2 world titles featuring the very best stand-up strikers on the planet. Undefeated featherweight champion Robin van Roosmalen takes on number 2 ranked Pech Panamaran, looking to avenge his only loss in Glory and end the Dutch Pitbull's reign. And middleweight mayhem as Alex Pereira defends against number 1 ranked Yusuri Belgarwi in a title rematch. Glory 55 New York, the Hulu Theater at MSG, Friday, July 20th. Don't miss it.
It's heating up. Join us, the world's premier stand-up league.
Wow! Mamma mia!
As Glory goes global for the Summer of Glory 2018.
Are you ready for glory?
Beginning this July.
Welcome back to Inside Glory as we take a look at the best of 2018 so far. And joining me to do so, the former welterweight champion of the world and my broadcast colleague, Joseph Valtellini. Let's talk about the first event of the year, a milestone night for sure. Glory 50, our 50th event, 100th show. Looking back to that night in Chicago, what's the one fight that jumps out?
Harut Grigorian versus Myrtle Grunhart. We first saw them in that controversial finish. Some call it, a cheap shot. Some say defend yourself at all times. But that storyline ended there. We had Harut Grigorian really come out and have a dominant first round finish over Myrtle Grunhart. And that was the 4th time the welterweight belt has changed in 14 months. So a lot of big changes.
He mowed right through him right from the bell. And that's what we've come to expect from Harut Grigorian. Blink and you could be on the canvas. Then 2 weeks later, we headed over to Holland for Bad Blood Hesti Gerges versus Badr Hari.
Yeah, we saw different Badr Hari. We saw him return against Rico. And against Rico, you saw those pictures. You saw his power training. He was big, he was strong. And I think that was his idea. He had to come in with a lot of power and try to finish Rico. But against Gerges, we saw a different physique. He was leaner. He relied more on his cardio. And I think a big thing for him is, can he go those 3 full rounds against a current heavyweight?
Then for Glory 52, we left Europe, came back to the United States, Los Angeles, and it was a featherweight showdown we'd all been waiting to see. Robin van Roosmalen, who looked unbeatable at featherweight, squaring off against American Kevin Van Ostrand, who'd only lost once in his life and was looking to become Glory's first ever American male world champion.
That fight was a contrast of styles. You saw Van Roosmalen pressure the fight, where Van Ostrand tried to use his trickiness, but as the fight went on, that pressure fighting was too much for Van Ostrand.
So from Los Angeles then to Lille, as we made our return to that city for the first time in 3 years, and the stage was set for the biggest women's kickboxing match of all time. The queen of kickboxing, Anissa Meksen, unbeaten for 5 years, taking on Amel Debbie. How did it play out?
Well, it was just Amel Debbie trying to pressure, but Anissa Meksen is just too smooth with her movement. The way she moves, the way she enters and exits with her strikes, she just doesn't give any of her opponents a chance.
Speaking of smart and technical, Sidichai defending his title twice in this year. The second time, a much more competitive fight against Tijani Beztali.
Even though he lost that fight and Sidichai is continuing his reign as one of the most dominant kickboxers, Tijani looked good. And he ended up staying in there, taking hard kicks, showing good strategy, circling away from the power kick, staying long as possible. He looked well, and I think he got a lot of confidence getting out of that fight.
So then from Lille to the United Kingdom as Glory made its return to England for the first time in 5 years. 2 title fights on the night. Harut Grigorian taking on Aleem Nabiev.
Harut Grigorian defended his title successfully for the first time. He really showed that his win over Myrtle Grunhart was no fluke, and it looks like he just keeps getting better, and he's going to be really that force to be reckoned with.
As far as the heavyweight division, no moving parts at all. We've got one guy. He defended his title for the 7th straight time, Rico Verhoeven, beating Mladen Brasivac.
Yeah, Rico Verhoeven is just too much of a dominant force right now. He had the same game plan he used in the first fight against Brasivac, came forward, used his pressure, and got a good victory.
What a night it was in Birmingham, and what a year it's been so far in Glory, especially when it comes to our one-night contender tournaments.
Unique to Glory, the Contender Tournament is the toughest route to the top in fight sports. Win twice in one night and take one step closer to a title shot. At Glory 50 Chicago in February, 3 of the top-ranked heavyweights joined newcomer Junior Tafa to compete for a chance to fight current champion Rico Verhoeven later this year. Guto Innocent sealed a place in the final with a unanimous decision, but was unable to take part due to a severe cut over his left eye, leaving Tafa to go in his place. And in the other half of the draw, Benjamin Adegbuyi dropped D'Angelo Marshall in the first minute of round 1 to take him to the final. Adegbuyi was too much for Tafa, and with this victory, became Glory's first 3-time tournament winner. At Glory 51 Rotterdam, it was the return of the welterweights, with Tongchai dispatching Scheinsen to take him to the final, and Dannenberg beating Vigneault. A tight match saw Dannenberg take home the Ramon Decker Trophy, putting him on the path to a title shot. Glory 53 featured an explosive featherweight tournament. In the first semifinal, Victor Leo Pinto defeated Bure Boynazarov by a majority decision. The second semifinal saw former champion Sergey Adamchuk put on a dominant performance against Azizi Hilal. Adamchuk continued his form by beating Pinto and inching one step closer to a world title shot. As expected, the favorites all won and took one step closer to a world title shot. Up next, the best knockouts of 2018 so far, and there were many to choose from. It's a big night in the Big Apple on Friday, July 20th at Glory 55, New York. 2 world titles featuring the very best stand-up strikers on the planet. Undefeated featherweight champion Ruben van Roosmalen takes on number 2 ranked Pech Panamareung, looking to avenge his only loss in Glory and end the Dutch Pitbull's reign. And middleweight mayhem as Alex Pereira defends against number 1 ranked Yusuri Belgarwi in a title rematch. Glory 55 New York, the Hulu Theater at MSG, Friday, July 20th. Don't miss it.
Welcome back to Inside Glory. I'm Todd Grisham. 2018 has had its share of knockdowns, knockouts, and TKOs, from Harut Grigorian's first round KO to win a world title to the devastating head kick power of Pech Panamareung. Here's the best of the best so far.
Fighters have 2 approaches. Oh, and he just put D'Angelo Marshall on his knees. And it's over. Marshall doesn't know where he is. Benjamin Adegbuyi. Decisive. Anticipates the knee. He's got to angle out, pivot out. Don't stay center. Oh, that right hand connected. And Grunhart is down. That is a knockdown. The champ is down here in round 1. That's the power we all knew Harut had in his hands. 7. He just needs to land it. Harut Grigorian, who's the new welterweight champion of the world. He has done it. What beautiful power from Harut Grigorian. Really quick, isn't he? Yeah, that speed on the edge. Speaking of quick, what a headshot from Bastani. 5, 6, Bastani with a massive knockout here in Rotterdam. That left kick, that's calls him.
Oh, and another high kick, and that sends us buried down and maybe out.
And he didn't even jump to throw that high kick.
He's in the prime of his career, ladies and gentlemen. Landed punch, there's another right hand, and down goes Duke for the second time. Yeah, Duke in the shell.
Yeah, Duke's corner, Melvin Manhoff is yelling.
And that's it! The good boy has done it again! Can't take too many of those. There's another one. Oh, and the hands came down. The foot came up right to the jaw. The #1 middleweight in the world looks like he's ready for another title shot. They make him stay up all night. Oh, and a right hand from Dubé. Right on the button. Touch hands down. Cedric Dubé promised us a knockout, and he only took seconds to deliver it.
And with both Artem Vahitov and Alex Pereira looking to defend later this year, more fireworks are expected. We'll step aside one more time, and when we come back, I'll be joined by my broadcast partner, Bazooka Joe, as we look ahead to the Summer of Glory.
It's heating up. Join us, the world's premier stand-up league.
Wow! Mamma mia!
As Glory goes global for the Summer of Glory 2018.
Are you ready for glory?
Beginning this July.
Welcome back to Inside Glory. Todd Grisham alongside my broadcast colleague and the former welterweight champion of the world in glory, Joseph Valtellini, better known as Bazooka Joe. All right, Bazooka, you're our X's and O's guys. No one breaks down kickboxing better than you. We got 2 world title fights coming up at Glory 55 at Madison Square Garden. Let's start with the middleweight championship. Alex Pereira taking on Yusri Belgarawi.
Yeah, and this fight is a rematch, and they had a title fight before, and it was started off with Yusri Belgarawi's pressure. It was really long, he was really attacking Pereira, but Pereira stayed calm, and we saw a different style from him. He stayed relaxed, and he was really using his knees. And to land a knee against a tall Yusri Belgarawi is a tough challenge, but mixed with his boxing, he was able to give Belgarawi a huge cut. Doctors had to stop the fight. But Belgarawi, since that fight, had a good win, gave him a lot of confidence with a knockout, so he's really motivated to get that middleweight title.
And this will be their 3rd matchup right now. It's 1 win apiece, so this is the trilogy, and you can see it live at the Hulu Theater at MSG. Also on that card, the featherweight world championship, Robin van Roosmalen defending against Pech Pannemerong. Van Roosmalen won the first fight, but this is a whole different beast Pech Pannemerong has become.
You see him in his first few fights, that left kick was going to the arm, but in his last few fights, he's doing a good job at changing levels, and that's how he's getting those spectacular knockouts.
And early in his glory career, Pech Pannemerong was almost fighting backwards, just counterpunching. Now he's become more aggressive, he's a pressure fighter, and he looks like a new animal.
Yeah, he wants to finish now, and he's just done an amazing job. His last fight, he came in with a flying roundhouse, and he's just putting spectacular knockouts out, but Robin van Roosmalen's pressure is second to none. Van Roosmalen's plan is he's going to keep walking forward, he's going to counter, try to get Pech Pannemerong against the ropes and unload those power shots. Man, this is a fight that I think all the Glory fans are excited to see again.
And then from New York City, we head to Denver, Colorado. Then we go off to China for the 2nd time in company history. Then back to the United States for Chicago. And then late September, we're back in Amsterdam. Some of the big names we can expect to see, obviously, Rico Verhoeven.
Yeah, he looked good in his fight with the Brestovac, so I'm sure that momentum is going to carry on to this fight.
Artem Vahitov hasn't fought in 2018. He's our light heavyweight champion and perhaps the best fighter in the world.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites to watch because he's so technical, and even since his hand injury, which is causing him a lot of problems, why we haven't seen him in a little little bit, but he's been working his southpaw. And even in his last fight, he can do anything, man. He's just so talented.
And one of the best fighters in Canada and in the world, Simon Marcus, thinks he's ready for a title shot.
Yeah, Simon Marcus is consistently getting better with that strong Muay Thai background. He's improved his boxing, and man, he had a vicious knockout in his last fight.
So many other big names I can't wait to see back in a Glory ring. The Wilness brothers, of course. Dustin Jacoby, the injured American middleweight, is due to return. Tiffany Van Soos wants to get back in the win column after losing her world title. So much to get excited about as 2018 winds on for Glory Kickboxing. Now, before we say goodbye and bid you adieu, let's look back at the best of pictures from Glory this year.
The Netherlands, people are filing in.
This was Glory 52.
Or the north of France.
I can't wait to go to England.
Your headline super fight of the evening.
Maybe the best ever. Some unbelievable action.
There's only one king in this division, and that's me.
And now vowing to end all of his fights inside the distance.
Almost went down. Your mentality has to be, even though you know the fighter across from you is probably the best kickboxer to ever do.
Very intriguing tournament, and we have 3 of the top 5 heavyweights in the world.
Return of Jamal Bin Sadiq. He faces the man that handed him his first loss.
I want Arut right now.
Well in trouble in the corner, and the referee steps in. Oh, and another high kick, and that sends us buried down. Someone's about to get their passport to the upper echelon of the division.
Kickboxing is the most amazing sport in the world. Let them see what we do.
Good combination there from Johnson. The king of kickboxing defending his title.
And still.
That'll do it for this edition of Inside Glory in the first half of 2018. But things are only heating up, and the Summer of Glory starts next month with 5 events in 10 weeks on 3 different continents. Until then, be sure to keep up with all things Glory on our website, glorykickboxing.com, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as catch up on Glory features and fights on our Glory YouTube channel. I'm Todd Grisham, and I'll see you next time on Inside Glory.
It's a big night in the Big Apple on Friday, July 20th at Glory 55, New York. 2 world titles featuring the very best stand-up strikers on the planet. Undefeated featherweight champion Ruben van Roosmalen takes on number 2 ranked Pech Panamarum, looking to avenge his only loss in Glory and end the Dutch Pitbull's reign. And middleweight mayhem, as Alex Pereira defends against number 1 ranked Yusuri Belgarwi in a title rematch. Glory 55, New York, the Hulu Theater at MSG, Friday, July 20th. Don't miss it.
Are you ready for glory?